Hi, this is Natalie Gevinti from Unlimited Mindset Solutions, and I'm here with Mica Duncalfe. Mica, thank you so much for accepting to do this interview today.
Not a problem.
So, Mica, you are the Director of Human Resources for RSM Bird Cameron, which is a national professional services firm. And at RSM, you have led the transformation of the HR division within the business, as its people numbers tripled in size during your 10 years with them.
That's great.
So I think the question I want to ask is, what are the most important decisions that you have made and make today as a leader of your organization in this context?
Yeah, certainly. I think for myself, it's absolutely balancing the priorities of leading that long-term strategic change and getting the outcomes at that level, but also the day-to-day outcomes that we need to deliver. So that's certainly one very large challenge in terms of decision-making that I make. Also around really about getting the best out of our people. My role at HR, that's what we're trying to do here at the business, and so making sure that everyone we get the best out of them while they are here with us.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I always like it when we mention the people, because that's really what leading is about, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And so what is one characteristic that you believe every leader needs to possess?
I think absolutely staying true with your integrity. So really holding on to that, because there will be times, I would suggest, in your career that you will be challenged or pushed to work outside of that. So really staying true to your values and your integrity.
Yes, and that's where it becomes so important to know what those values are.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's not really clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on the opposite side, on the flip side of that, what is the one behavior or trait that you have seen derail more leaders' careers?
I have seen some fairly large egos get in the way of some leaders, and that has derailed their careers. I think it's often, as a leader, not about you. It's about the best for the business and your team around you, and sometimes you need to put yourself out of that to a certain extent. That's probably what I would say.
That's right. And actually, this is how you be taken care of.
Yes.
It sounds counterproductive, but when you put the team and the business before, it comes back tenfold
100%.
To serve you.
Yes.
So that's really good advice. What is the biggest challenge facing leaders today, would you say?
I think, particularly in the market that we're in at the moment, probably trying to do more with less. So asking our teams to do more when they're all working really, really hard.
Yes.
So making sure that we are authentic with our recognition and celebrating the small wins along the way, I think, is a really big part of that.
That's so important. Thanks for that. So your HR career really took off when you left your hometown of Brisbane and you went and lived in London. And when you were in London, you worked in senior leadership development with Chubb Insurance and also in organizational development with Arcadia Group, the parent company of the infamous Topshop brand. Although you now live in Melbourne with your husband and your two children. Can you name a person, maybe during that time, who has had a tremendous impact on you as a leader during your career? Maybe someone who had been a mentor to you, and why and how did this person impact your life? Yeah,
sure. I had a mentor at Arcadia Group who was quite significant in pushing me probably to take on a larger HR career. I worked with her. She was a very inspiring leader. She was probably quite tough and pushed me into things that I thought might have been out of my depth at the time, but was always there to support me behind the scenes and made sure I achieved and was successful. And she was extremely authentic. So she was the same person, to myself, to the team, to the board of executives. So, which was a great lesson in terms of being authentic and true to who you are. Yes,
and I think it's also a great lesson in terms of when you then become the leader, the senior leader, being able to have this vision for your team members that's a bigger vision than what they have for themselves, isn't
Absolutely,
it? Yes. So you also hold a Bachelor of Business and a Master's of Human Resource Management And also, you are a recent graduate of the Institute of Company Directors, as your next professional challenge is to contribute to a pro bono non-executive director role. Now, this tells me that you value development. And I was reading recently how surveys revealed managers get training after having been in their role for 9 years. When do you think managers should receive training and why?
Right from the outset with your career, I think it's really important to be able to manage oneself and know about oneself before you can manage others. So I think it's really important that we do that early on. You're correct. I'm a big supporter of development and ongoing development. I think it's really important to stretch ourselves, to learn new things, to be open to new ideas,
Yes.
and I think that's how we're more effective as a leader.
Absolutely. So, what would be the advice to wrap up this wonderful interview and of insights? What advice would you give someone going into a leadership position for the first time?
I think getting to a leadership position is fantastic, but you haven't made it once you've got there. You need to keep working really hard, keep learning. Don't be afraid if you don't know something. That's okay. Seek some advice or some counsel from someone who you can trust or a mentor, and be prepared that it's going to be tough. There's going to be days that are really tough. You need to be prepared for that. It's not all roses, as a leader. So be mindful of that, and then be mindful of how your actions during those tough times can have an impact on the people around you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mica. Fantastic insight. Thank you.